What's the deal, my people? Like, hey, my bad. I forgot that I was over there fucking around, like, and I forgot about this. Ray Sean Howard, what's the dinner there, man? 90059 on the running deals. Man, that's the area code, man. That's the zip code, my bad. That's the zip code right there, big dog. Hold on. Let's see. Let's get over here and check on my good people. Like,
have to intentionally ignore it. Unfortunately, even over 100K subs, I myself have yet to be able to pierce the threshold. So please like and
I see you down. Hey, check out you came in at just the right time. Keep listening. Just listen real quick. You gonna catch on. Nakia, this is my young brother from my neighborhood, Bobby Yeah. He's another podcaster. That's Nakia, man. That's my teacher right there, man. We're gonna be real respectful up in here. The teachers in here.
peace and blessings, Queen. For sugar it out.
Let's listen to the rest because it's gonna get good.
When?
Who lied and said they smashed it? Who lied and said they smashed y'all?
There was a story in Detroit.
Who lied and said they smashed y'all?
What? This woman clearly is out of touch with how the women she is defending move in today's society.
Information in a story first exposed about the state ordering a Detroit man to pay child support for a kid that everybody agrees isn't his.
As 7 Action News reporter Kim Russell tells us, the court has made him a wanted man until he pays up.
When I exposed this story, I thought someone a friend of the court would fix a clear injustice. Instead, a warrant has now been issued for Carnell Alexander's arrest. For him, it's deja vu. In 1991, during a traffic stop, Carnell Alexander got a shock. Police arrested him. His crime? Being a deadbeat dad.
I knew I didn't have a child, so I was kind of blown back.
He told 7 Action News he would later learn this happened because his ex needed help.
I had to turn to welfare to get assistance to take care of them, and I had to put him down as the father. That was the only way I can get assistance.
That started a paternity case. A process server then turned in this paper saying Carnell had been notified at a house in Highland Park. So when he didn't show up at court, he was legally listed as dad. The problem? Carnell didn't get notified. He wasn't even at a house in Highland Park. He was in prison for a crime he committed as a young man.
So apparently this is not an isolated situation. Thousands of men are going through this in the state of Michigan. Guys, check your state laws so this does not happen to you.
And by the time he learned about the paternity case, judges told him it was too late. Legally, he owes the state more than $30,000 for assistance paid to care for a child.
I did not father, that I did not biologically create or spend any time with throughout my life. I find that very unfair.
Carnell says he won't pay. He tells me tomorrow he will turn himself in.
I will go to jail if I have to because I'm tired of the situation of the mishandling of the case.
I don't think that's right.
Murray Davis from the National Family Justice Association says there are thousands of men in Carnell Alexander's shoes.
So even if you take a test and are not the father, you will still have to pay the debt and continuing child support for a child that is not yours.
Because Michigan does not have paternity fraud laws that protect men.
Michigan does not recognize paternity fraud in the sense that a person who has been found not to be the father is relieved of those obligations.
I did reach out to a friend of the court and was told that they cannot comment on open and active cases. Carnell, in the meantime, plans to go to court and turn himself in tomorrow with his attorney, who hopes to convince a judge to let him go free. We'll let you know what happens.
What do you guys think that judge did? Let me know in the comments. What if I told you that there's a plethora of women that are name dropping, just random names on birth certificates? And motherfuckers is getting the letter, you owe 10,000 child support. I'm like, I don't even know.
Sign it.
Wait, you have to sign that. That's not how a birth certificate works, Darwin.
No.
You can put.
I think this is determined by what state you in, because in California you do have to sign it, or they not doing nothing with if this is no name on the birth certificate, they have to do a paternity test in the state of California, because paternity got to be determined before they'll do anything else, which I think is smart. But different states got different things going on, you know. Because I remember back in the day, the women could put whoever name they wanted on the birth certificate, and the system would go with that and just say, "Okay, you're the father." It happened to my brother.
Well, I think it's good now that California is demanding a paternity test. I think everybody should follow California's lead.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, they don't. They give you the choice, but I think it should be mandatory. I think because they taking the sample of your kids' DNA anyway
I
in the
get
state
what
of
you're
California.
saying. They give you the choice, but I like the fact that
They
before
actually
they'll
give you the
add your
choice.
name to the birth certificate, you're
Yeah.
saying that they want
Yeah,
the
they do
paternity
want the
test.
they want
Right.
that done, and they double the birth certificate. If the child doesn't have no name as father, and then there's the paternity test done after the fact, the child gets a second birth certificate to go with the first one. So it's almost like it stays on record that this had to be determined.
Right.
But I ain't mad because records are important. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's get it on.
Look, you can put a name on a birth certificate, but if he doesn't sign it within a certain amount of days, that name gets rejected.
She's correct. That's how the law in America works.
Clearly, a lot of women are out of touch of what's going on. These women are currently nurturing the Black communities in America, and they are oblivious to the maliciousness of the sisterhood.
Real talk. These are the mothers right now. And this is the information that they passing on to their daughters. My mother told me to be real careful as a young man. And I didn't have my first child till I was 23. And I was still too young.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I still made a big mistake with the mother I chose for my daughter because it's tough. You know what I mean? I wish my dad would have been around more. I wish I would have listened to my big brother a little more because it's different when you get advice from your dad or your big bro about women than from your mom. Because you figure your mom, I was the youngest son. I felt like she was just trying to stop me from having my fun.
Right.
But when she really was trying to stop me from putting myself on punishment for 18 years.
Right.
Got you to listen. But I mean, that's just part of the whole breakdown. Like he said, our nuclear families ain't what they supposed to be. The stuff my father told me, I wish he would have told me before, you know what I'm saying, I became the kind of man I was becoming. You know what I mean? My dad told me, he said, whenever you get ready to go to sleep with a woman, your son, just remember this. He was like, before you lay down with that woman, do anything with that woman. He said, I want you to look at her real good and ask yourself, do I want children by this woman?
Right.
And it was very good because it's something I started doing after he said it to me. But my brother, he told me, you want to know what kind of girl you dating? Meet her mother. Go meet her mother and see what kind of mother she is. See what kind of woman her mother is. I wish I would have listened to him.
I do think that's true to a certain extent, but it's sad to say I go with the old saying that we lose a little bit of each with each generation. I hate to say it, but it's like we get worse and worse with each generation.
It's very true.
So yeah, the mom may, be a reflection somewhat of the daughters, but unfortunately, with each generation, we lose a little bit. So
yeah.
I can't say that fully. I think you have some similarities, but it's, to me, with each generation, it gets worse and worse.
It's a little bit worse. Like I said, respect is out the window at this point.
Right.
There's no respect no more. It's like, and it's, when we was kids, there's certain things we didn't do as children because we just had a certain amount of respect. If we was walking down the street, we little project kids, and we yelling and talking crazy and cussing, if we got near a church, we would stop cussing. And if anybody did, we would check them. Hey, man, it's a church right there. You know what I'm saying? That ain't, come on. Ain't no kid thinking about that now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like you said, it's been a decline, a regular decline as time went on.
Right.
And then unfortunately, it's not getting no better. I've said all the time, my son's 10. I feel so sorry for him because when he get ready to get out here and get a wife, man, could you imagine the shape these young ladies gonna be in?
Right.
It's like, man, it's just sad, but it's true.
Right.
Let's get back.
Right.
They're lying. They know.
Even in these cases where y'all would say, oh man, this is an obvious case, the way that the system is currently set up is not that easy for a man to just walk out of.
He don't get his money back either. He got to go.
And he don't get his money back.
Let me do a morality test. Ladies, show of hands. Would y'all fight for that to be put in the law?
What I fight for, but I'll find something.
This is an
I'm
interesting
saying,
about mandatory DNA test?
If it requires y'all to go down to City Hall and say, hey, look, we need mandatory DNA tests at birth.
Women are going to be against that.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna march in the streets for it, but I will sign something for it.
This is what the black.
This is the part that rocked my world. It's not over. Keep listening.
Community will continue to suffer from. And it's not the white man, so don't go there. I know how bad people in our community like to point the blame, but this particular matter appears to be self-inflicted.
I ain't marching in the street.
Yeah, I won't march, but I'll sign it. Yeah, I won't march.
Some of us is directly affected.
They won't march
by
for the
this
black
topic.
man. They won't march for the child. What will they march for?
Coast to coast, an army of women.
We believe in women.
Defending reproductive rights.
I believe that we will win.
Texas's new restrictive abortion law powering the step of hundreds here in LA and thousands across the country.
Yeah, fight
They
to
will
unalive
march
our
to destroy
babies.
the seed, but not
Right.
to accurately ensure the seed has its biological father documented and accounted for.
That's heavy.
And this is black women. We're talking about the black
women
community.
have been fighting for things all this time. Men, this is your issue. You're
This
going
is
to have
dumb.
to take it up.
How is it our issue when y'all are the one lying?
Right.
She said, baby, it's June. I ain't marching nowhere.
I love your tattoo, by the way.
Nobody else.
This is not funny, dude. This is not funny.
Not in the least bit.
Right.
I wanted to say I love your tattoo, by the way. Her tattoo, I love it.
do
by the way.
remember you,
Talking about a
The
tattoo.
tattoo that's stopping her from being
Listen,
feminine and getting
I agreed. I said I'll sign it. I won't march, but I said I'll sign it. So just deal with that.
I just said it
But you have to
requires
lead the charge.
a
You're leaders.
group of people to actually march. And
Y'all can march.
For it to happen.
I will
Y'all-
sign.
Hold on, lead, brother. Lead it. Leader.
It ain't the white man
They
that's
call
sending
the
us to
police.
court and putting our names down. It's them. And they saying, you know what? Yeah, I'll march if white man come and beat your ass, and I'll march for our kids. But if it come to me lying about who my kid's father is, or me putting that nigga on child support when I need it, I ain't marching for that shit.
You know what, Lenny? I'm gonna tell you.
Psychology
wait, hold
behind
up.
that is
I'm
heavy.
gonna tell you the one thing that I feel like it takes a lot of honesty to admit, and people won't admit it because it sounds fucked up. But in retrospect, I feel like in-house problems is in-house problems. So
What's more likely for you to march for? Unaliving the kids in the stomach, or mandatory DNA test?
Oh shit. Yeah, I gotta go march for my homegirls. I'm sorry.
So you gonna support unaliving of the infant, of the fetus? But then, oh my
The leader-
God.
Hey Darwin, you gotta understand.
Where's the best place for a baby with
slut
their
walk.
heavenly?
Y'all remember the
ball?
slut walk? How many
Wow.
women came
You
out
heard
for
what
the
she
slut
said?
walk?
Where's the best place for a baby with his heavenly
slut
father?
walk.
Wow.
Never heard.
Lord. You see why I had to put this video up and do a commentary on it? I
Right.
couldn't believe my ears. And this was, it's more than one woman there. You think one would be like, I'm with the men I would go because I got a son, I got a nephew, I got brothers. You know what I mean? You think somebody would say, no, I wouldn't want my nephew going through that. I wouldn't want my son going through that. Well, I'm gonna raise my son right. You can raise your son as white as you like. If he run into the wrong woman out there and he fall for her, that's something that you don't have no control over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you should want some kind of law to be in place to protect him from being, victimized by a predatory person.
Right.
They said they will march to kill babies.
Right.
They will march for that. She said, I got to support my homegirls. I'm out there for that. But you can't support the brothers in this right here. I mean, I it's not me, but I do know other people. I know some good brothers that done child support done basically handicapped them.
Man.
And they had their kids by the one dude, he had both kids by the same woman, and they was high school sweethearts. And you would have thought they would have been able to work out. Lauren Lake said it on her show, work it out in the living room so you don't have to work it out in the courtroom. I'm a strong believer in that. You don't have to involve. Now, Judge Mathis, you need to, put the white man in my business. Put the man in my business. You better go put him in your business, that child support. Look, bro, I don't agree with you. And then since I done found out this whole thing about this secret fund where judges and prosecutors are getting money off this child support, it sounds like you was saying that out of your own interest, bro. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't trust no prosecutor or judge at this point after finding that out. And it's not a lie. It's not just wasn't just Arizona. Texas is supposed to be guilty of that, and so is California. You know what I'm saying? So if that's really what's going on, we can't trust y'all. But here it is, Lauren Lake, the lady who's in the paternity court seat, as a
Right.
judge said, if y'all could sell it in the living room instead of the courtroom, I would suggest y'all did that.
Right.
It's time to be an adult. We want to act like kids when we get upset or when we don't want to be with a person no more. We think we can turn into children. No, you still got to be 45.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To carry yourself like an adult. It didn't work. Let's split this thing up and let's do what's best for the kid. Or you could be like my auntie and my uncle, man. They stayed together and raised my cousins until they was adults. And when they got a divorce, everybody was shocked.
Right.
Oh, we thought y'all was in love. We have been happy for years. But
Right.
you know, we raised our kids though. You know, that's what the adult thing is to do. You know, it's time to be an adult. You know.
Right. Right.
What's up, Bobby? Yeah, you in there?
Yeah, I was just, taking this all in, man. What we are witnessing is the degradation and the erosion of our family values and the fabrics that used to hold us together. Now it's the black man against the black woman, and it's the white man that's fueling and motivating the black woman to find unique ways to assault or come after, the black man. And like you say, man, a lot of these situations should be worked out in the living room instead of the courtroom. I'm a victim of a woman putting a baby on me. You feel what I'm saying? And one of them, I didn't know. I took her word, thought it was my child, signed the birth certificate and all that. Child support towed my ass up. Oh, excuse my language, but child support towed me up, took my license, and it was a lot of ramifications, behind that. You feel what I'm saying? Then there was another young lady that tried to put a baby on me, and she's telling this young sister that this is your daddy, and we don't have a relationship. So the young sister is walking around Watts with a grudge against me, hating me because she feels like I'm an irresponsible man that's neglecting his parental responsibilities. But that's not what the situation is. Your mama tried to put you on me and you're not my baby. I never had sex with her without a condom, using protection. So it's impossible for you to be my child. But I did attempt to be a part of the little sister lives, the little sister life, because as black men, I feel like to a degree we have an obligation to black children. So I did try to be somewhat of a positive role model and do what I can, so on and so forth, but that didn't suffice and it wasn't enough. So I'm a victim of this. So this hit home, when we touch upon this topic of discussion, because when the father finds out that this child that you thought was yours and you've been loving this child, providing for this child, man, it's traumatic. When that revelation comes out, and it can negatively affect the man, and it can also negatively affect the child. You know what I mean? So it ain't right, it ain't cool, and it's something that we need to start putting the necessary security measures into place, so that we can prevent these type of situations from befalling us in the black community.
Yeah, because unfortunately a lot of our people are trife. So you can have a child that there's some questions about the child's paternity in the neighborhood, and the man could be like, when me and my big brother, when he had his situation with his paternity situation, they was telling the little girl that he was belonged to my brother. The little girl was calling me and my brothers and sisters uncle and auntie when she seen us. You know what I'm saying? And I never like snapped at the child. You know what I'm saying? She's like, "Hey, uncle." I would wave at her. I would just wave, "Hey, baby." And I would just say to myself, "It's messed up. Her mama not telling her the truth." You know what I mean? But you got the neighborhood sometime, or that mama's friend, or mama's cousin, or somebody that's messy. And they'll mess around and they'll drop a dime, or they'll pour something in that child's ear. And unfortunately, even if that child and that man has a beautiful relationship, it can disrupt things.
Right.
And it's like it won't mend itself back, because that doubt will be in that child's mind now.
Right.
An adult dealing with that is one thing, but a child don't know how to respond to it.
Right. It can be
You know what I'm
devastating.
saying?
Right.
And they'll start acting out. They could be mean towards the father. And the crazy thing, like I try to explain to people, when those kind of things happen, a lot of times you got these tired mothers who think it's cute that the child is nasty towards the father because she don't like him, and your daddy ain't nothing. But like I tried to explain to a woman once upon a time, disrespect, when you allow a child to be disrespectful, they don't know how to turn that off.
Right.
So it's only a matter of time before some of that disrespect gonna spill over into your lap.
Righteous. That's
and
true.
you're gonna expect to be treated like mama parent number one that took care of you your whole life, but you lifted up that gate of disrespect and said it's all right to be disrespectful.
Right.
Kids don't know how to stop, because see, as soon as you do something they don't like, they gonna think they can be that way with you.
Right.
So it ends up being a big mess. And here it is, it wouldn't have never happened had it not all it takes is one person to feel like, well, that really ain't none of your daddy, right? Why would you say that to a kid? But you got people who will do it.
That's true.
And then once the kid done heard it, you like what Lauren Lake say, you can't put that back. Once it comes out, you can't put that back. Same thing with a child, man. And we play games with this stuff like it's a joke. Like my man said, we made Maury Povich and them super rich off of this. You know what I'm saying? Off our foolishness. You know what I'm saying? And you see these people going, I know it's him, and I wasn't with nobody. And then it becomes normal. It becomes, this is how it is anyway. So if it ain't none of this, it's okay. You ain't no different than nobody else. Plenty of women that make it. Nah, man. Nah. It has to stop somewhere, man. Or it has to begin a stop. I know ain't nothing this nasty gonna just cease overnight. But there gotta be a point where we started to roll it back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It is not an insidious statement in the least. The thing is that you are expecting, again, women, Black women on this panel specifically, to get up and do something for you. When you all are experiencing this problem, you need to get up and you need to go fight for yourself. Because when women have a problem, when we see something that is wrong and it is our problem, we go and we march for it.
That's the problem right there. It's your problem and my problems are supposed to be the same, sister. Y'all don't have separate problems from us. Our problem, you said our, but you're talking about women, Black women.
Right.
Here it is. Your problems are my problems. My problems are your problems.
Right.
That's that Caucasians meddling, or shall I say Anglo-Saxons meddling in our households and our affairs, because our women develop this type of attitude towards the man when they start marching with the white women for the white women can have the opportunity to vote in the 1920s. A lot of this. Go ahead.
You're so right, man, because influence. You don't feel influence. Influence is painless. The Bible say by beholding you become changed. If you're around something too much, it starts changing you, whether you know it or not.
That's heavy.
You ever found yourself speaking a certain way and you heard a person speaking that way, you don't even like them, but you start using the same words they use because you just don't it's like being in the neighborhood. Everybody talk a certain way. You ain't really from the neighborhood, but you find yourself using these same, slurs, the same words, the same way. You pick up the same vernacular because influence is painless. You don't know when you're being influenced. And unfortunately, all of us, I'm a real man. I believe in accountability. All of us have absorbed the mannerisms and the ideologies of a people who we are yet this day in captivity to. We not supposed to be like them.
Right.
We not supposed to be like them. We all grew up watching Good Times. Wasn't y'all proud of James Evans?
Right.
I loved him. And as I got older, I loved him more and more, man, because I started saying to myself, you never seen a Black father on TV like that no more.
Right.
They literally killed him off of television. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I remember being a kid and watching him stand up for his sons and stuff. And you know how long he worked on that painting? Huh? Do you? Man, when I used to be saying to myself, I wish my dad would have been there to be like that for me. But I used to see him on TV and it almost felt just as good. And I think the powers that be recognize that.
Right.
And say, you know what? This dude can't stay on TV because he's gonna start promoting too many young men to be strong fathers. Can't have that.
Right.
And they didn't want him in the show. Esther Roll had to beg the producers to let him be in the. Yeah, they wanted her to be a single mother, even though he was with her in Maude.
Right.
And Good Times was a spinoff off of Maude. They wanted by the time she got to the projects, her head to be gone.
Right.
It's called propaganda, baby. It's called programming.
Right.
Television programming. I tell a vision to program you.
Right.
It came out pretty good because this is it. One day at a time. Remember?
Right.
Alice.
Right.
Even what's happening. Their mama was by herself too, even though the father was alive.
Right.
You barely seen him on the show. He came every
Well,
once in a while.
sadly, that was a time when welfare changed the system and the dad couldn't be in the home.
Mhm.
So they was promoting
Mhm.
all that at the same time.
That was the beginning. That was the beginning of our real degradation. Yes,
right,
ma'am.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's what they was putting in everybody's mind. That dad can't be in the home.
Hey, God bless her soul, but man, my mother went for it. I mean, we was in Texas, and my daddy worked, and we stayed home. And my mother stayed home with us. It was 5 of us.
Right.
And my dad worked, and we had a home, and we lived in Oak Cliff, had a nice house, garage, backyard, dog named Red Man. We had the typical. Me and my brothers used to make snowmen in the front yard at Christmas time. You know, when Mama used to take out the antique Easter baskets and decorate them at Easter time. We had the real typical, what they call it, the nuclear family thing. Right. Yeah, we really had that.
Right.
But my mama's cousins was in Watts, California, living in the projects and talking about all the food stamps they was getting and the money they was getting on the 1st and 15th. And girl, you got 5 kids. You need to come down here.
Right.
Get you a unit.
Right.
You don't have to be with him. You don't have to put up with his stuff.
Right.
And then the lady at the Church of God in Christ, where my father is an elder there right now today, the church lady that worked there, gave my mama the money she needed to catch the bus and leave my daddy. What kind of church woman are you?
That's heavy.
Right.
He wasn't beating her. He had infidelity problems. He had some problems with drugs, but he wasn't beating her.
Right.
We still had a house. We still had a roof over our head.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He just was running the streets a little bit. They was young, but they knew each other since they were teenagers. You know this man, mama. You know him since you was a little girl.
Right.
I hate it when people act like they don't know the people they've been with 30 and 40 years. It's like, what are you?
Right.
know
And
this
then that's
person.
one of the things that puzzles me too. It's like after you done been, and I hate to put it this way because we do have so many years, but I feel like this, after you done been with somebody 20 years, it's like, why? Why are you breaking up now? You've had the patience and the wherewithal for 20 years. Why? Just like the example you gave of the couple saying we weren't happy, we raised the kids. But I feel like if people sit down, they go to marital counseling, you can make it work. Because I'm a firm believer, and that it's not the best term, but however the saying goes, it says, the devil you know. So something to the effect of, why not be with the devil you know than the devil you don't know? You go out there and meet somebody new, you think the grass is greener on the other side, then you look, it's like, oh, dang, you got 20 problems, but the last person only had 5. You should have just stayed with the person with the 5 problems.
A lot of people shoot themselves in the foot. A lot of people shoot themselves in the foot, and they done think they did it. Next thing they know, they see that person they used to be with, they done moved on, got married, and they miserable and feel like they done destroyed their life, but nobody put a gun in your head.
Facts.
You know, so nobody put a gun to your head and said, go do that. Oh, it just wasn't working out with him. He wasn't there for me for this. And this guy was here and he was doing this and I was happy with him. And then you went on with him. He got you pregnant, but he didn't really want a relationship with you. Uh-oh.
Well, what the sad part about it is, that's the thing for me that's so difficult with dating. It's just like, I really feel in the beginning, of course, I feel like they're representative. And it's like, once they get you to a spot where they feel like you're comfortable, locked in, whatever term we want to use, then now the real person comes out.
There it is.
So like you said, you need to take time to get to know a person, like truly know a person before you rush right in. Well, people don't understand. Everybody have the honeymoon phase the first 6 months to a year. The question is, are you going to make it after that year, that 2 years? Everything is hunky. Well, everything's hunky dory because you like the person, you got the little butterflies and all that. But it's like, okay, when reality sets in and this person shows their true self, are you still going to feel that way?
Yes, ma'am. Because that's real talk. Because my parents was together all that time, and it's like, when we got older, it's like they never wanted to be together. Like, she didn't even like my father's type by the time she got to like her 40s and stuff. You know what I mean?
I feel like to a certain extent, though, that might have been her listening to them other people and them influencing her.
Yes, influence is painless. Because she listened. She jumped on that bus and brought us all to Texas, brought us all to LA, brought us to Watts Nicholson Gardens, brought us from a home, 3-bedroom home, to one of the toughest housing projects on the West Coast.
Right, absolutely.
And this was the late 70s, early 80s. This when things was super crazy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's
that was the crack era, wasn't it? Ain't that when crack came out?
Well, back then the big thing was Sherm. Crack hadn't really popped yet, but in the late 70s, early 80s, Sherm, and the dude she was dating was the Sherm man in the
Oh
niggas'
my
gardens.
God.
So I was 4
you went
years
from
old.
a working man to a drug dealer.
To a drug dealer.
Wow.
With his van and his lowriders and his motorcycles, and he was brothers of the sun. He was on the motorcycle set. He hair permed out with his cowboy hat
And
on.
I
He
mean,
on
I
the
get
store
the
or two.
infidelity, but this is me. I guarantee you, the drug man probably had infidelity too.
Not just that, he used to beat on my mama.
That's crazy.
Wow.
My daddy never hit my mama. Back in them days, I woke up and it never happened, but besides then. But I remember waking up and my mama eye being swollen shut.
That's crazy.
And I only seen it once, but a little boy only got to see that once.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If somebody would have put a pistol in my hand, he would have been a dead man without a thought.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you exposed your kids to this because you're trying to prove something to their daddy.
I think it sounds to me like it was a combination of all of it, proving it to the dad, but then listening to that church lady, and then also them other women. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, your pastor, your church, your congregation, you believe that they know what they're talking about.
When that woman told my mother, I got the money for you, I'm gonna help you, that to her was her certification.
Right.
That was her validation. Okay.
Like her affirmation.
Yes. The church.
And then see, now this is the thing. I'd love to know now, once she got with the drug man, where was the church lady? Was she around to give advice then? Or was she out of the picture?
She was back in comfortable Texas.
So see, right now she done ruined your situation.
Yes,
Sad to
ma'am.
say, probably liking your husband. Now you done moved, done left.
You never know.
You know,
never
come
know.
on now.
My daddy was
It's
really
sad to say,
popular.
you can't trust people.
He was in the church. He wore tailor-made suits. He built the Sunday school for the church. My dad was real pop, and he's a Marine. You know what I'm saying? He was in real good shape. He had a GI Bill, and you know what I'm saying? And he was the man. My mother said he was the most popular dude in school when they was young.
Right.
And all the girls was on him. You know what I'm saying? And then you moved from Texas.
I understand that she was young, but again, that's what also gets me about people. Like you said, you know what you're getting, and you think it's gonna change. So he was already popular. You saw the girls was on
and
him.
He was dropping acid and smoking weed and all that when y'all was dating.
Somebody should have explained to her that, hey, look, I'm a firm believer that when you're with someone, they bring out their representative. I'm a firm believer. It's either going to stay the same or it's going to get worse. It's not going to get better. So to me, if you meet somebody, they're popular, all the girls like them, it's like, are you going to accept that? If you're not, you need to end it quickly. If not, just say, hey, I understand that in this relationship, the girls are going to be close by.
I remember coming up to Texas with my mom. I'm a middle child. I have two older brothers and two younger sisters. So it's 5 of us. And I remember, this is crazy because I'm only 4 years old, but when things are traumatizing, you remember, you never forget.
Right.
But I remember going we got family to this day all over Nickerson Gardens.
Right.
But I remember my mother first coming from Texas to California, and her cousins, it was a lot of women, not too many men, it was a whole lot of women.
Right.
But her cousins, nobody wanted to let my mama and us stay with them because they're their dudes. Because they had men.
Right.
And my mother was a little short, bow-legged, thick, had long, pretty hair. You know what I'm saying? She talked with a country accent, which was hot, which was sexy. You know what I'm saying? And you think, oh, that's Southern. Oh, girl, you ain't from here, huh? And it's sad when your own family can be jealous of you like that.
Right.
To the point where you ain't staying here with me and my husband. You ain't staying here with me. None of them kids ain't staying here.
I'll
you know
be
what I'm saying?
completely honest with you. This is just me. I will say this, and this might sound totally horrible, but at the end of the day, yes, we as women know what type of man that we have. It's sad to say that if your man will probably step out. So it's like,
there it is there.
Why dangle the carrot in his face?
And they knew they mean.
So at the end of the day, they knew that they men will probably step out. So it wasn't your mom or nothing against her. It's sad to say they knew they didn't have strong men. And
they knew they men wasn't about nothing.
Right,
so they, he can't go. You can't stay here, girl.
Because I've heard many females say that, like this one lady, she had stayed at my Airbnb and she told me she was looking for a spot for her friend. And I just point blank asked her, I said, well, if this is temporary, why can't she stay with you? Her exact words to me were, I got a husband. I don't let women around my husband. I said, okay, then. Okay.
Yeah. And it is a rule that a lot of women live by. You know what I mean? But you don't tell your cousin to come somewhere, then don't have no feather nothing for her when she comes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was wrong. You know what I mean? And it's like, we all, passed. A lot of people, my mother's not here no more. A lot of my cousins, her cousins have passed away. So, it's over with. But we older now, and that nasty stuff trickled down to the children.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because your mother talked about my mama talked about your mama, and we all heard it. And when we was around each other's cousins, we might have liked each other a bit, but we wasn't as close as we should have been.
Right.
Because of this stuff, the stigma. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
sad, but these are the little things that shatter and scatter our families, man.
Right. Absolutely.
It's
like I was saying earlier about the gossip. Same thing.
Yeah. Shatter and scatter a family. And it's almost, it's so hard to put it back together. It's like a mirror. If you break a mirror, it's not like putting the regular glass back together. It's a little more simple because you can see through it. But that mirror, those little shards are just reflections. And they are reflecting off each other. It's tough now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can see yourself in them little shards. If you was able to look at it, you can actually see yourself in there. Yeah, there I go.
Right.
But I can't get it back together so I can see my full face.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's bad. And that's what's been done to our families on such a massive scale. They was on Facebook. They was somebody put a statistic up saying that family reunions amongst Black people are down 47%.
Right. Right.
We're not even going around each other for our family. They say because the elders are passing away. And it turns out it's grandma and big mama and them that really make everybody come together still.
That's true.
Absolutely.
And then she passed away. We lose her, and everybody like, man, we don't mess with all that. That's how the family crazy. We don't mess with them. And,
I agree.
you know what I'm saying? And here it is. That's still your family. That's the family God gave you, man. You gotta work with that, man.
It's unfortunate. That's what I say. We lose something with each generation. I mean, unfortunately, my family is like that. When my great grandmother would live, and we got together 3 times a year: Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas. After she passed, maybe a couple years we got together, but then as things went on, no more. I'll be honest, I tried to have things myself 3-4 times. People didn't want to come. So I'll be honest, I gave up. I'm like, forget it. Y'all don't want to participate. Y'all don't want to be involved. I'm not going to beg y'all.
Yeah.
And I got this one cousin now, so hypocritical. She goes to church, hoop and holler, posting stuff on church every Sunday, but she will literally have events at her house and Super Bowl parties, posting it all over Facebook, but she invites her friends and her coworkers and not her family. And I'm like, I don't understand you. You hooping and hollering about church, you a Christian, but you don't even have your own family at your house.
Yeah, us as Black folks, we had a hell of a trick played on us, man. We the worst with the curses, man, because other races, even if they don't get along and look at the other side as bougie, they deal with each other and they love each other.
Right.
And they're there for each other when they need one another. When we say we don't mess with a certain part of family, we don't mess with them.
Right.
It's like they bet not call. You know what I'm saying? Because like, what is he calling here for? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's sad, man. But that goes back to that whole,
that
slavery. Yeah, that Willie Lynch, Jim Crow, and put you against your woman and your woman against your kids. And it's like we turned inside out and upside down. And the thing about it is we don't even want to try to reverse it. We think that this is modern and this is how it is now. This is the modern way. Nah, man.
But how do we reverse it? Because a lot of other races that we reference when we're talking about, our malfunctioning and, dysfunction amongst us and our people, every other race has been taught to put the preservation of the race first. We have been taught to put the preservation of us first, self-preservation.
Yeah.
So everybody else, they talk about what's going to move us forward as a collective, as a people.
That's for the people.
But when it's us, it's about what's going to move me forward, what's going to advance me as an individual. And also to speak to what you was talking about when grandma passed away. See, them grandmama kids. You know what I mean? Grandmama could say, I want y'all to come over here for Thanksgiving. No ifs and buts about it. And all the uncles, the aunties, the mamas and daddies, they gonna come. But when grandmama leave, now the uncles and the aunties feel like, well, I got to do this with my kids and my grandkids instead of continuing on the family tradition. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Who gonna call everybody together now?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it's like you say, it's already been division amongst the family. It's just grandmama was that glue, that component that can get everybody together. But now that grandmother isn't there to be that glue, now everybody goes their own separate ways, and it's all about everybody in their individual family, their kids and grandkids and them. Like, you feel what I'm saying?
And the kids will reach out to each other on Facebook and reconnect and tell their mama, I'm gonna go with my cousin. I want to go out to Oklahoma. You ain't going out there. Your uncles and them, they credit and did this and did that. And now you done came between them and they generation.
Right.
Not cool. Not cool.
Not cool
If you
at
don't
all.
want them to go by themselves, fine, go with them.
Right.
But let them go fellowship with their little cousins and stuff. I got two of my first cousins I have a relationship with. Two. You know what I'm saying? My mother's father both had siblings. I know two of my first cousins. You know what I'm saying? And they're the only two I deal with. My cousins from the Knickers and Guards was my third cousins. Okay?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My mother, nieces and nephews don't really know them that well. I know two of my dad's nephews, Shamari and Jelani. Shouts out to y'all, man. Love y'all. But they the only ones I got that kind of relationship with. It's not, I mean, it's sad, but it's true. I mean, like I said, our families are shattered and scattered, man. They did a good job. They did a good job with us. And it's like nobody. That's why I was telling the sister earlier, before you came in. My organization try to focus on healing families, mother, father, and children.
Right.
All the organizations you got, they focus on single parent homes. You know what I'm saying? And usually it's single mothers, even though the statistics say single fathers raise better quality children.
That's true.
But they still focus all the resources on the mothers. And that's not cool. And my thing is, husband and wife families that's struggling and trying to stay together, there's no resources for them.
Right.
Why? Because certain stress will break up your family. And we know that.
Right.
So we not finna help y'all get to the, because we help y'all too much. Y'all mess around and stay together.
Right.
Y'all mess around and y'all love will be strong enough to get y'all through this. We can't take a chance on that. And it's like really how they act.
Oh, absolutely. I told you the experience with the church. We frown on that. No, if you're not getting married, we not gonna help you get there.
And we so holy that you ain't gonna be able to do nothing without us. And that's sad, but a lot of black churches are like that. But what the Bible say about those that sanctify themselves and hide in the garden behind a tree eating swine's flesh? No, you can't sanctify yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can't sanctify yourself.
Right.
Christ said these people are going to have their reward because you told yourself, I'm blessed, saved, highly favored. Who told you that?
Right.
The scriptures say he who endures till the end, he shall be saved. Have you made it to the end? What are you talking about?
Right.
But we get off into this, and our churches are they're a cancer to our communities at this point.
I agree.
They don't come out. When shootings go down, don't no church clergy come out to the communities and do no healing and no praying and no therapy for the people. That where we come from, me and Yay, it's churches on every corner. Every other corner is a church.
Right.
Up and running. People come there on Sundays and all that. But once Sunday is over, them doors closed, the building looks abandoned. Like nobody ever even uses it. You know what I'm saying? They don't invite no people down to have no kind of community programs, no kind of block party, nothing to bring people together. You know, outreach to get the people just to come together. We're going to pray for y'all. We got the sister over there. Anybody that want to join the church, go talk to sister so-and-so. Nothing like that.
Right.
Even though the area that they're in is suffering from the worst conditions.
Right.
You're supposed to be doing God's work right here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No different than Christ. Then they say, I'm a Christian. Christian mean Christ-like. You think he'll be hiding in the building with all this chaos going on? Christ was with the murderers, the killers, the prostitutes. He said the well need not a physician. I'm going to the sick. Y'all supposed to go to the sick.
Right.
There's no counseling. Like I told them sisters that came in my swap meet that time, man, because y'all know how people go to how the sisters be going to the churches now, what they be dressed like. You know what I'm saying? I had some sisters come to my swap meet one time because my swap meet was right next to a church. They come there to get their last little wham-whams before they go to church. They all look like they was ready to go to the club.
Exactly.
Had on some of the tightest stuff I've ever seen. Girls did not dress like that when I was
They wasn't taught. Like,
and I would always pick on them. I would always pick on them. Y'all, hey, oh yeah, it'd be 3 or 4, 5 of them. Hey, how y'all doing? Your sisters doing this morning? Hey, we all right? We good? We just gotta come get us some little, and y'all look nice. Y'all look real nice. Y'all way to church. Y'all going to show the Lord y'all thighs. And they would all pause.
Exactly.
Are you going in there to show the Lord your cleavage?
No, they're going to show the pastor and the
exactly.
deacon.
Yes. Some of the church leadership,
And I would tell them, think about this. We know because we come from that generation. It would be couples in them churches struggling in their marriage.
Right, right.
That man don't need to smell your perfume to look up at you and see you dressed like that when he ain't happy with his wife. He here because he's going through it with his wife.
Right, exactly. And
here you come strolling by.
Right. In some churches, the first 2 rows, they don't even let women sit on the rows.
It's just crazy.
But
That's how it used to be.
Because I'll be honest, my great grandmother taught me to this day, and my cousin laughs at me, and I do not care. When we were growing up, we could only wear dresses to church. Be becoming. I will not to this day step foot with pants in a church. Another thing my great grandmother taught me: if you're gonna do makeup, do it light. To this day, I don't wear makeup. Why? I feel like I have natural beauty in the hair.
That's right.
Do not cut your hair. My cousin, like, you still follow Granny's principles. I said, you doggone right. Yes, I do.
Does the Bible say the elder women teach the younger? Come on, man.
Right.
We ain't listen with the people that live. That's the thing about it. Y'all all seen Good Times when they put Black Jesus on the wall. And Florida wanted to take him down. Remember?
Right.
Remember, Jesus is only one. Jesus, the only one I know, and he don't need a partner. Y'all remember it?
Yeah.
Right.
But y'all remember what happened when the little Michael said he could be from the lost tribe of Israel. They said he was black. And ain't no could to it. The Bible's clear. It says he sprang out of Judah. That's one of the tribes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's no doubt about that. But the killer dealer is when he said it, it says it in the Bible. And when he showed it to her, what happened? She had never read that.
Right.
Right.
She was going off of oral tradition.
Right.
When the scriptures say, study and show thyself approved unto God, a workman who need not be ashamed, righteously dividing the words of truth. Because there's going to be some lies out here.
Right.
But if you ain't studying, you ain't going to be able to righteously divide the word of truth.
Right.
I told my daughter all her life, learn every day because you're never going to know it all. Get comfortable with learning. Same thing with that book. You're never going to know it all. You need to study it. Over and over and over. I do a whole lot, but you notice I don't got my podcast talking like I'm some preacher person.
Right.
I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I study for myself, and when the scripture comes into play, I put it there because that's what the Most High tells me to do. If it's a scripture that'll fit, I'll put it there. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe in prophesizing, not preaching. You know what I'm saying? Show the people in their life, look, this is where this fits. And perhaps they'll wake up and start walking a certain way. And not supposed to be yelling nobody, checking nobody, none of that. You know what I'm saying? That stuff run people out of the church. They talk about how it ain't no men in the churches.
Right.
Black men don't go to church no more. That's very true. You know what I'm saying? Because the men are the head. We're supposed to be the leader. We're supposed to come there and get the information from you and make sure our family got it. But if we come in there and you giving us this pork chop preaching and it don't make sense,
right?
You know what I'm saying? That we finding out pastor been flirting, girl, pastor, me and pastor was talking in the hallway, and so near while by saying, let me move, because they're gonna be talking about what's going on between me and pastor. How can that kind of rumor even come into play in a church? Why would that even be a discussion? That means pastor is messy as hell. He's dating women in the church, and y'all all know it, and y'all all comfortable with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the church nowadays.
Right.
PD Snakes and Cref Mo Dollar. You know what I'm saying? Right. These people are not the men. What does the scripture say? Many are going to come before God saying, but Lord, did not cast out demons, did not do it in your name. And he going to say, depart from me, ye worker of iniquity. I never knew you.
Right.
You can't tell these people they're not holy. You can't tell their congregations nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But in the meantime, between time, our communities are sick. The church is supposed to be the doctor's office.
Right.
Our communities are sick. You know what I'm saying? The morality. The scripture says that do not make whores out of your daughters because they can destroy a city. Listen to that.
Right.
He said, do not make whores out of your daughter because they can destroy a city. How can one girl who's loose destroy a city? You ever seen one little hot little runaround girl in the neighborhood and before you know it, everybody fighting and getting into it?
That's true.
She fighting with the girls because she in everybody's face, and the niggas is fighting because they in her face.
Right.
The Bible said God is not a man that he should lie. He said his word can't return void. If he say making whores out of your daughters will destroy a city, his word can't return void.
Right.
These little hood rats. Sister talked about that once upon a time. These girls are so loose. They're the main thing causing a lot of these shootings. And nobody really got on it with sister. It was like, wait a minute. Yeah. We need to start paying more attention to these young ladies. But everybody is so free now. It's so open. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying earlier, I was telling the sister earlier, the statistics say at the age of 25, it's more boy versions than it is girls.
I can believe that most definitely.
That's a big flip right there, man. Right. The girls are the perverts now.
Right.
When I was a little boy, my mama told me if a girl would walk up to you, hey baby, what's your name? Hey daddy, what's up? She said, you better turn and run from that girl. These boys don't have to necessarily be taught that by their mother or father. The DNA, our genome, our very existence, we're hunters. When a girl come walking up to a boy, hey baby, that make us nervous. It low key make us like untrusting, like ugh. You know what I'm saying?
I think it makes real men nervous, but nowadays it's sad to say. To me, it's role reversal. It's like the average man forget it. I ain't got to do the work, or she go run up to me, then come on.
That's right.
And it's like they accept it. They shouldn't, but they accept it. And that's one thing I say too. I'm very old school. Tell anybody, if I have to run after a man and chase one, then I guess I won't have one, because I'm not doing that, and I was not brought up that way.
I'm saying it's so promoted now.
Right.
That's why the STDs are so rampant among young people. That's why these girls online bragging about having STDs.
Right.
When we was kids, if you was that young and somebody thought you had something, your name was mud in the community.
Right.
And no dude wanted to even be seen walking with you, let alone doing anything else. Because of a dude seen walking with you and the girl that he likes see that and he come talk, you was with Heather the other day. I know what's up with her. I didn't do nothing with that girl. We just whatever. And that girl was smart to give you your distance, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But in this day and age, it's cute. You got your dirty reds. You got your Dukianas. You know what I'm saying? You got your Meg the Mayor. You got your Cardi B's, and you got girls online at these 20 and 30 years. Girl, you think Cardi B would go for something like that? Wait a minute. That's who you go to for your That's who's training you.
And the sad part about it, now some of those girls may live their life like that, but if you really look, do they? Because Cardi, I thought, was married at one point, and I think she is now. And then just like Nicki Minaj, like, no offense, I really don't like her, not a fan, but you see, she kind of settled down and had a kid. So it's like they put this image out there, but are they really doing that in their private life?
Yeah, this one sister brought that up. She was talking about how Beyonce was telling y'all, all the single ladies. But she
married. Right.
Jay-Z cheated and she still didn't go nowhere.
Right. Exactly.
It's a part of their agenda. You know, they did it with the male rappers with our children, converting them over to be drug addicts, drug sellers, or unalivers of one another. Now that they got our young males thinking that they thugs, gangsters, and all this derogatory shit that they associate and assign to black men. Now they going after our women.
Right.
Yeah. Real talk, man. Sad but true. And unfortunately, man, I don't see no real healing. You know, I don't know when it's going to.
Well, it's sad to say, but the media influences. I think even when kids grow up in a good home, nowadays we got TV, social media, all that. You know, the parent can be there 24 hours a day, and then they seeing these artists. You know, these even these sports players. Now, I mean, it's ridiculous. Like the one sports player is just. Yeah, I just hate it, but it's just like the men have sex with these women, and then when they have a kid, it's like, oh, she's the biggest hoe of the year. But wait, you slept with her. Just like that one sports player really ticked me off. So he so dislikes the mother that he went to court and told the judge, I don't know how it ended up, but he's just like, look, let me just give her this lump sum payment for 18 years. I'm done. I don't want to deal with her. But wait, you wanted to deal with her. You made a child with her. Now you don't want to be bothered at all.
Yeah, that's true too. It's unfortunate, but it's true. We've got a whole lot of work to do. And I always used to tell my brother, man, several things I said to him when I was a young man that come back to me and it haunts me now because I didn't know enough about history, archaeology, or prophecy to be saying the things that I was saying. Right. I used to tell my brother, I used to say, man, I don't think our people going to really come into any kind of understanding of any kind of real understanding of self. I think it's going to take Christ to return. It's going to take
Right.
the Redeemer. You know what I'm saying? I really don't think we see us getting out of this on our own. But that being said, I know what the scripture says about that. But on top of that, something else I used to tell my brother. I said, man, God must really love us for this world to hate us so much. And I was a baby saying that. I was like 8. You know what I'm saying? Why? And you realizing way back then at that age, you could see the condition. The scriptures say oppression make a wise man mad. And the gift destroys the heart. If you that young and you can see oppression and feel it, you know what I'm saying? And look at your people and the condition of your people, watching those Martin Luther King movies and watching those different little, made for movie shows they used to have back in the day telling us about slavery and roots and all that stuff. Watching that stuff, man, and not being able to understand why everybody hate black people. So and nobody can tell you what the hell we did to nobody in the history of the world. They can't point out where we wronged another nation.
You can't.
But the whole world hate us, man. And you done told me about this Jesus person. And that Jesus person said the world is going to hate you because it hates me. He said that. So if the world hates you, especially for nothing, hey, man, we ain't going to know how this all going to turn out until it turns out. Can you dig it?
Right.
But I am curious. I am very curious because amongst my studying, man, when I look at the things, and like I look at history, archaeology, like I said, prophecy, and I look at our people, I can see a fingerprint, bro. I can see it. I can match it up like a fingerprint. You know what I'm saying? And I know I ain't mistaken, but I don't feel like it's my job to like be the one to bring things out. Like if God want me to do that, he'll put it on me. But right now I'm just studying and trying to put the puzzle together so I can show it to other people. You know what I'm saying? Look, can you see this? Can you see it? Yeah, I can see that. Okay, I need you to work on it now because I can't work on the puzzle forever. I'm going to put enough pieces together to show my people.
Right.
And once they see enough of the picture, okay, can you finish it? Yeah, I think I can. Okay, take over, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that message I sent out to everybody today. We need to light the torches for the future.
Right.
We got to light them because we can't reach this younger generation, man.
We too selfish as a people though, because like I say, they taught us to put our individual goals over the goals of the people and the family and the household.
Over the collective.
Yeah, over the collective.
We went from a collective people to an individualized.
Right.
People.
Even in our family unit, you have certain individuals that say F the family. I gotta, do this for me, so on and so forth. Now you got kids and you got, people who depend upon you now in a position to where they're lacking some form of a maternal figure. Because if we gonna call a baller, strike, within recent years, now how do you say that you got ain't SHIT fathers? Now you got a lot of ain't SHIT mothers
my God.
Yeah, that's leaving these babies, man. So now single family households is on an increase. And the mother being there in certain situations is on a decrease. So, it's a multifaceted thing, man. But when they turn our women against us, man, that was a cold thing right there because we still trying to recover from that. You know what I mean? But the thing is, everybody is not going to catch on. So it's going to be a point of time to where we have to separate from them. If you want to get it, come with us. If you don't want to get it and you want to continue in your evil ways and that cesspool and all that, then you stay over there. But we going over here.
Over there. Yeah, man. It's sad. The thing about that is the scriptures is clear. It says, come from among those and be ye separated, because the word holy comes from the Hebrew word kodash. It means separated, set apart. It don't mean blessed. It don't mean enchanted. It don't mean any of those words. It actually means set apart, not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a truth that we got to accept. I mean, God separated the people. He did that for a reason. Certain people are different, man. And unfortunately, we so far from what God originally made us. Like Jeremiah said, we lost all knowledge of the culture and heritage that God gave us.
Right.
And we took on an auxiliary culture, which is actually a detrimental lifestyle, a horrible lifestyle, but we took it on because it's all we had. You know what I'm saying? And we had to create something because everybody was pushing us out of their little groups. So we had no choice. But that being said, we're kind of in that situation now.
Most definitely.
And we got to go into these little groups, man. And hey, I'm ready to be with my people and help my people and all that, but they got to wise up first. They gotta wise up first, man. I feel like Farrakhan when he said he too old to be tenderfooting around. I understand that, man. It's like, look, we ain't got no time to be playing.
We don't.
You know what I'm saying? This is, man, we don't know what's gonna go on here, man.
And something's about to go on soon.
Something about to go on. The scriptures say every people is going to go into their own people. Every man's going to go into his own nation, to his own people. That's going to come a time where that's going to happen. You can see the separation of the nations right now.
Right now. Hallelujah.
Us and the Mexicans used to be one unit 30 years ago.
Right.
We were a unit 30 years ago. Those ties are severed right now, dude.
Most definitely, right.
I ain't gonna say that they're burned, but they're cut. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, how do you get it back together with all this mistrust and all this badness that done happened over the few decades where it's real nasty animosity? Like, why the hell should we trust you? You know what I'm saying? And once the trust is gone, you got a problem. Because it's like, you know what it is when it comes to enemies, man. You in them streets. You know what I'm saying? If there's no trust, it's death.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I might like you, but I can't trust you, which means you're deadly to me. I got to deal with you a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing with these nations. And it's sad because everybody going to shatter up and go amongst their own. But when you get right down to it, we all need each other, man.
Right.
We need each other bad. And it's the time going to come where we going to really need each. Let them turn off the lights. Let them turn off the lights for real. Let them turn off the water. Let services start stopping. Let the trash not get picked up. You know what I'm saying? Let the toilet stop working. There's no water. They just said they had Watts didn't have water for an hour or something. I was in the last meeting. And they said it was like an hour and some change. The Watts didn't have no running water. I couldn't believe my ears. I couldn't believe my ears. I've never, the whole time we lived there, I've never, ever been at a point where there was no water.
But I can believe it now because the water is contaminated. They found lead and other hazardous chemicals in the water. So maybe they may be updating whatever they need to update and changing whatever they need to change to get rid of these heavy metals and chemicals that's in the water.
Yeah, DWP came to the meeting. They didn't have no real answers, but they were saying people could like write emails to them and this, that, and the other, because they didn't even send out an email or nothing to the people telling them that this was about to happen. But you and I both know if you don't pay your light bill.
But this is me. I'm sorry. That's by design. What a coincidence. It was in Watts, a predominantly Black, low-income neighborhood. Nobody has no answers, no response. It's just... Come on now. It kind of reminds me of Flint, Michigan and that bad water.
That's exactly what they said.
Why is the water bad in Flint? In Flint only, where there's poor Black people.
Right.
Yeah. They said that in the meeting. And when that brother from the army, that engineering brother from the army put that machine down that drew the water from the atmosphere, they kept breaking it.
They kept destroying it.
And the gangbangers had to protect it. The little gangbangers came out and said, ain't nobody touched it after they started watching it either. But they kept destroying it, trying to make it. They didn't want that man to help get them people no water.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, wait a minute, who keep breaking something like that? Don't they need that? The people need water.
Right.
But they kept sabotaging it, man. This stuff is, like you said, this stuff is not.
And he also said that whoever destroyed it, they knew exactly what they were doing.
How to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. So it wasn't no random person vandalizing it. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
He said whoever did this had to have some kind of engineering in their background because they knew what to do. I'm like, whoa, that means it probably was the military.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's great because I know the military got machines that can evaporate their enemy's water supply, and they got machines to make sure they got water. It's for the desert.
Right.
This is something the United States military does have. He's out of the military. He probably learned about the technology there and designed his own machine, not the military, so they couldn't say patent. He made his own. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, y'all got this kind of technology. What is it for? Why would you destroy somebody's water supply? You know what I'm saying? Whoa, what? Who comes up with this stuff? You know what I'm saying? But hey, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked, according to the scriptures. Riddle me this: the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges therein. If not, who and where is he?
Right.
That's in the book of Job. That was the Lord telling you, riddle me this. He said, riddle me this. He said, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked.
Right.
Whoever this wicked is, they was going to cover the faces of the judges. Who are the judges? The prophets, the Lord.
Right.
Who lied and said all of them were Caucasian?
Right.
I got a better question. Who runs the world? What nation of people is in control of the entire earth? It ain't Arabs. It ain't the Chinese, even though people like to say they is. It ain't the Africans. No.
It's the
Damn sure ain't the
Anglo-Saxons.
blacks and Latinos. Damn sure ain't the black and Latinos. It's those people.
Right.
And they got a certain group of them that's higher than them.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But he said the earth will be given to the hands of the wicked, and these people would cover the face of the judges therein. Somebody went around the whole world and said Christ was Cesare Borgia, a white man with doggy, stringy hair. Somebody went through the whole world and did that. You know what I'm saying? And he said, if not, who and where is he? He said, you should be able to answer this yourself. Look at the world. Who runs it? Who's lying on who's who? You ain't figured it out yet? Man, see, it's more to it's so much more to it. I'm mad because I should have been studying this 30 years ago. But I've only been on it for 10. But Lord, but God is good, because
Hallelujah.
The whole time I was in the Church of God in Christ, I was learning certain things. When I was amongst the Muslims, I was learning certain things.
Right.
When I was amongst the Seventh-day Adventists, I was learning certain things. All of them gave me the background I needed to where when I came across the right information, I was able to start putting it together.
Right.
Oh, now I see. I told my brother a long time ago, you know, he's a minister, and I told my dad, the transatlantic slave trade was too big of a crime against humanity not to be mentioned in the Bible, if the Bible tells all prophecy. Where are we in that book?
Wait, but doesn't it say something to the effect that you'll be taken into a land not of your own, where you will worship foreign gods and you'll be in captivity?
You talking about the book of Deuteronomy from the 28th chapter from 15, Deuteronomy 28 from verse 15 to 68. It gives you all the curses that would happen to God's chosen people, and it fits us like a fingerprint.
Right.
He said you will be first to worship other gods, even wood and stone statues, wooden crosses.
Right.
He said your children will be taken away from you. There will be no might in your hand to regain them.
Right.
He said that you will have a wife, but other men will lay with her. He said you will lose all knowledge of your culture and heritage.
Righteous.
He said an enemy is going to come to you as swift as the eagle fly. An enemy whose tongue you shall not understand.
Right.
Who will not show no mercy to the young or the old. And this will be like a wicked. God said it clear. He said you ain't gonna do right by me. I'm gonna put your enemies on you.
Right.
And that he would use the enemies of his people to punish them whenever they messed up. 7 times they went into captivity after leaving from Egypt to now.
Right.
He said, I'm gonna send you into Egypt again on ships. That's Deuteronomy 28:68. He said, I'm gonna send you to Egypt again on ships. By the way, where I speak unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. We never seen our own land again. He said, when you get there, you're gonna be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall redeem you. Not Marcus Garvey, not Malcolm X, not Huey P. Newton, not Martin Luther King. Christ is known as the Redeemer.
Right. That's a heavy
I've been
problem.
saying this since I was a baby. He's going to have to get us out of this. I was telling my brother as a baby, I think it's going to take Christ to get us out of this. Thing about it is, we have accountability ourselves, man. We have a responsibility ourselves.
But if I may just interject real quick, right? Somewhere in Matthew's, Christ is quoted as saying, "Do not think that I come to bring peace, for
Peace
I do
to the
not.
world.
I come to bring a sword."
Bring a sword. Yes.
Right.
It says the Lord will return with fire, with the angels of heaven, and he shall plead with the flesh of many. He'll put many to death. See, people think he's coming back to pass out lollipops or flowers.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no.
Coming to
They
get
don't
it
know him like
cracking.
they don't know him like they think they know him. You see, they thinking about the wrong person is what it is. I just pulled it up. Let me put it back up. See, I go off what the books say literally, and I don't really see it. People try to, that's a riddle there. You got to understand it. No, I don't need to understand that. You see that?
They say that God say, "I am not the author of confusion."
He's not. He ain't confused us about nothing. They try to make it seem like everything's so confusing. Yeah, man, he's mixed. Ain't no mixed in the Bible. The Bible says you are your father's seed.
He mixed. That's crazy.
You are your father's seed. Whatever your father is, that's what you are.
Right.
There's no mix according to God's law. He said you are the seed of your father in the book of Numbers. That determines your pedigree. That's why you wear your father's last name.
Right.
That's why they only named the men that begotten all the way up to Christ. They didn't name not one woman. They just talked about from Adam all the way to Christ. Naming men. Because we birth nations. Whole nations come out of us. Every time we touch a woman, a nation comes out of us.
Right.
You understand? And people don't really want to respect the power of God that God put in man. We got a whole nation of come on, man. According to the scriptures, Shem, Japheth, and Ham repopulated the earth after the flood. Either we believe the scriptures or we don't. You know what I'm saying? Because people like to believe they do that salad bar thing. You know, they'll take a couple of pieces, then they want to walk back to their chair. Look, if you're gonna go to the salad bar, get a damn salad. Don't go to the salad bar and you come back to the table with tacos and chicken wings and shit. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language, but don't do that because that's really not good for you. But it's at the bar. But if you go there and get the lettuce, the purple onion and purple cabbage, the spinach, the mushrooms, even the juju beans, all of that stuff that birthed and born out of God's earth. If you eat that salad, it's gonna be good for you.
Right.
But if you add the cheese and the bacon bits and drown it in dressing, you ain't getting a salad no more. That ain't a salad no more. Put all that chicken on top. That's chicken with some vegetables now. You know what I'm saying? We supposed to be eating a salad. But people go to the salad bar, they pick up a few things, they throw it on their plate. Okay, I got a salad. They go sit down. That's not a salad, man. We can't treat this like that. We got to take it all, like he said in the script. You got to take the Bible, you got to take the book, and you got to eat it. I mean, you can't eat a book. You can't. Yes, you can. I promise you can eat a book if you read it enough. You'll be like these brothers out here quoting it like it's rolling out of your body. But the thing about it is, I believe that that's the key for us. I believe we're supposed to come back to exactly how God told us to live and live like He say, and not compromise that. That's my thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because all of this nastiness, man, that's only getting worse. Like the sister said, look, we out of church and don't even go no more, man.
Right.
We so far from anything to do with God at this point. When you bring up Jesus, the people they ain't going with that. I want to hear that. We never talked like that when ministers and stuff came through the hood to stop us and pray for us and stuff. We would stop and listen to them.
But it's a lot of misinformation and miseducation as it pertains to Jesus in the church. But some of the younger brothers, they're a little bit more radical, and some of them figure like I was thinking outside the box. Why would I be praising the same God of my oppressor? Because they don't know the intricate details that Yeshua was really, close to, what we are. You feel what I'm saying? But they reworked it and gave us Caesar Borgia and all that. You feel what I'm saying?
Man, your boy Cat Williams said it the best. These people, the powers that be in this country, they know exactly who we are. We don't know who we are.
Right.
The elites here, they know.
Right.
They know exactly who we are. They know where they took us from. They know why they shaved our faces. They know why they took all our clothes off of us, because they didn't want us having nothing that we could ever see and match it with nothing. They'll say, oh, wait a minute. That's where we come from. That's who we are. The scriptures say you're supposed to wear fringes on the borders of your garments. That's in the book of Numbers. Throughout our generations, Christ wore them. Anytime you ever seen black people perform, from the Jackson 5 to the Earth, Wind, and Fire, didn't they have fringes on their uniforms?
I got to do the research. I got to look into that.
Man, look at your marching bands. Look at your marching band. The band don't look right if it don't got fringes on the uniform. Even the mariachi bands, the Mexican folks, fringes.
Right.
It don't look right if they don't see those strings dangling and moving around when they dancing and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Our afros and our big beards on our face and them fringes on our clothes, we was looking like we supposed to. That was the 70s. That wasn't that long ago. And we wasn't doing it because we saw ourselves as special and God's chosen, but it's something about it drew us to it. Man, this stuff is coded in our DNA, bro.
Right.
On everything. Right. All of this that we done been through can't be for nothing. It can't be, man. I refuse to believe that. And I also refuse to believe the people that done went around the whole world, destroyed everything, just get to go to heaven with everybody else. I don't believe that either.
That's heavy.
All I got to do is say, God, forgive me. I get to go with everybody. No, I don't believe that. He said, you reap what you sow. He said, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. He said, you can't defile the land with blood because blood defiles the land. And it only can be cleansed by those who shed the blood. You see that? It only can be cleansed by the blood of those who shedded the blood in the first place. These are God's words. But you don't hear no pastors talking this way. Just like you don't ever hear them read from the book of Obadiah, and you never will. Watch what I tell you. Go to any church. You'll never hear a pastor read from the book of Obadiah. And it's the shortest book in the Bible. They avoid it like the plague. Why? Because that whole prophecy is all about what's going to happen to the wicked people on this earth. That's all he talk about is what's going to happen to the people that destroyed the earth. They don't want to talk about that because everybody want to do this feel good preaching and just everybody just come together and we all just need. I'm not with that, man. I'm sorry. The Lord said, "Never trust thy enemy. Like iron is sure to rust, so is his wickedness." If iron is sure to rust, and he said he's just as wicked as iron, and iron is going to rust one day, I have to listen to that. I have to. I'm not saying I'm going around the world and mistreating nobody, acting funny with nobody. But if your people have been proven to be an enemy to my people, I just deal with the whole long handle spoon thing with you. That's all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I still work with you. I can still be professional. I can still be cordial. I can still be civil. But I noticed that they can do that too and never let you come to their house or eat off their plates or use their toilet. So, yeah. I think we should just all deal with each other like, kind of give everybody what they give you. You know what I'm saying? Just, give it back. You know what I'm saying? You don't mess with me. Okay, I don't mess with you. We should be good from there. Malcolm was right, man. Martin said he integrated us into a burning house. Yeah, Martin Luther King said that.
Yeah, he did. He did.
That. Right before, at the end, once all the stuff was going right, what was his name? Harry Belafonte. He said everything was going good. They was getting the they knew they was gonna get the Civil Rights Act and all that, and things were wonderful. And he said Martin was just sitting there looking all like melancholy, like sad.
Right.
He said, I went to him like, Martin, what's wrong? Why you looking so melancholy? Like we winning right now. And he made that statement to Harry Belafonte. He said, I really feel I done integrated my family, my people into a burning house. If he was still here right now, shit. He think it was bad when he was walking here. Man, we got full-fledged LBG. he got grown men walking down the street naked on their hands and all fours like dogs. You got laws that have been passed throughout the United States saying you can have sex with animals and you won't be prosecuted.
That's crazy.
It's true, is what it is. They got laws, man, especially down south. Talking about you can bust open pigs and sheep and
that's crazy.
You made a law for that? You passed a law. That tell you where we at, man.
Right.
This moral decline, it's the worst amongst the sex world. Think about it. The video we just got through watching. You know what I'm saying? They passed now STDs like it's a thing to do. True. Abortions is birth control now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The girls are more aggressive than the boys. They way more out there. It's way more easy access now. It's different, bro. It's way different than what it was when any of us were younger, man. And just think, it's getting worse in front of our face. Look at that video we just watched. They said they would march for abortion rights. They were good with the slut walk,
right?
But will not march to make sure their sons, nephews, or brothers don't get put on child support for kids that aren't theirs. I mean, you can't make this up, bro.
Right.
You can't make this up. Hey, man, but it's been a blast, man. I enjoyed the conversation. I'm glad that we was able to finally get it working right. My system was down, man. My OBS was crashing for some reason. I was trying to use my OBS, but I was like, I'm just gonna go on Zoom, put the Zoom link out there, see if we can get some folks to come in here and talk about this thing, man. Right. But hey, it's a hot topic, and it's only gonna get hotter as time goes on. But hey, like I said, I had a blast, man. I appreciate you guys coming through.
Likewise.
Hanging out with and putting y'all 2 cents in the cipher. Get this information out to the people. We're going to hope that it helps somebody, bless somebody, man. Bring somebody out of a nasty, dark place that they in. Because that's what we really supposed to be doing here, man. That's the goal of me. Get information out and hope people take the information as truth, as much raw truth as we can give them so that they can make proper choices.
Right.
Full knowledge and understanding, man. Like T. Rogers said, full knowledge and understanding gives you you gotta be in a position where you can eliminate the negative, establish the facts, and choose your best option.
Right.
You can't do that without full knowledge and understanding. You know what I'm saying? And when we half-ass, especially with the kids, when we lie to the kids, we don't tell them the full truth, and then they don't make the right decision, we want to get mad at them. But you didn't tell them everything.
Right. Hey, you know what? I'm seeing a lot of that at.
Yeah.
They're corrupting our kids when they take our kids and introduce them into this system called DCFS, man. And what they give back isn't what we, you know what I mean, is what isn't what we birth, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to speak on that. I didn't want to go too deep into it, but
No,
what you're
that's real
saying is
talk.
true. What you're saying is
That's
true,
real
man.
talk, man. I had a lot of homies that went through placement home, being in placement homes and stuff like that, and they wasn't the same once we seen them again. They wasn't the same.
Right.
None of us was there with them, and they was always out in Lancaster, Bakersfield, always far from LA.
Right.
And you like see them on the weekends, or their parents let them come in. Who is this? This must be. I bet this is Denise. I guarantee you. Is that you, Denise? You gotta take yourself off mute, sweetheart. And she'll figure it out in the next couple of minutes. But yeah, man, I remember that too, man. That stuff ain't no good for our babies.
But it didn't
But
got
you know,
worse. It didn't got
the
worse.
school to jail pipeline is a real life thing, bro.
Yeah, that too.
And
The prison
that placement,
industrial complex,
yeah.
the public school to prison pipeline, but now you also have to include DCFS.
Yeah,
Because
that's part of that too.
exactly. They got the young ladies going to Figueroa and all these other, tracks and strolls and whatnot, and they got the young brothers going in and out of prison and mental health facilities.
Yes, sir. And that's it. It's done on purpose because that mental trauma it's the best way to get that to that post-traumatic stress, and we want you to act that post-traumatic stress out a certain way. We want you to be angry, we want you to be untrusting, we want you to be ready to attack anybody at any time, because this is what PTSD do to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they make sure they induce that as much as they can. Like my boy Kumasi said, we on a diet of hate from children. We get a teaspoon of hate every day. That's our diet.
Right.
And at some point, you're gonna explode on somebody, man. You know what I'm saying? It's only a matter of time. That cop messing with you and pulling you up and jacking you every time you see him. You know what I'm saying? Getting into it with these dudes in the street. No, you and your girl can't get along. The domestic violence, DV. You know what I'm saying? There's something gonna make it. And when person finally pop, everybody act like they don't understand. Oh, he just went crazy.
No, he didn't.
What led up to this, man?
Right.
Denise, is that you? You took yourself off mute, and then you put yourself back on mute.
Okay, it's me.
I thought so.
Around, but I'm here.
I thought so. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my girl Denise, man. She is my confidant. She was supposed to be popping in earlier, but she's been all over the place.
Peace and blessings, Queen. How you doing? Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings, my brother. How are you today?
Incredibly well.
In fact, how is everybody? Not just one person. How's everybody doing today?
I'm doing okay. This is Nakia. How you doing?
That's Nakia Denise. She's training me for my notary work. She's my teacher.
Wonderful. I'm good, Miss.
Awesome.
Is everybody in California, Nevada?
Nope.
Where we at?
We in Cali and Nevada. Y'all two, and us three is in Nevada, I think, and I think you're the only one that's in LA. At the moment.
Okay.
I'll be out there later this month. Come hang out with my baby sister for her birthday.
That's right.
Well, my little sister for her birthday. Hang out with her. You know, we're close in age. We were close in years. Not years, but our birthday. Mine's is the 14th. Hers is the 24th. So my mama used to make us have our birthday on the same day. I hated that. Hated it, dude.
Right. What the fuck just happened? Yo, it's the dinner now, man. It's your player partner, man. Hey, I wanna, show my appreciation for everybody tuning in, man. We just had some thought-provoking conversations with the brother over at What's Going On Network. If you can tap in, check him out. We just talking about, paternity tests and how women can just put babies on dudes, and it's just pretty much